In this video, we are going to discuss about the historical aspects of drone technology. Before getting on to the historical aspects, let us first know what is actually a term drone is. So we have various meaning for drones. So a drone is actually an unmanned aircraft or ship guided by remote control or onboard computers. This is actually the definition from the dictionary. But actually, what is a drone in technology manner is it is an unmanned aircraft which is a flying robot that can be remotely controlled or fly autonomously through software controlled flight planes with the help of embedded systems and many sensors using the GPS. So this is the technical definition of drone. So now let us discuss about the historical aspects. So in the mid 1850s, so in the mid 1850s, these are going to be the military drones, how it is appeared. So this drones was actually used in 1849 when Austria attacked Venice using unmanned balloons. So you see here, it actually looks like balloons, and it actually they actually launched around 200 incendiary balloons over the whole city. So we are actually talking about the current generation drones, but initially it was like unmanned balloons, and it weighed about 11 kg to 14 kg of bombs it carried with it. So this was the first place where it was used for the military technology. So after that, one common feature of many modern commercial drones is the quadcopter. So see here, you can see the four wings. So it is called as a quadcopter. And in 1907, brothers Jacques and Louis Bricket, with the help of Professor Charles Richard, they developed an gyroplane, a forerunner of the helicopter. So this design of the copter was visionary. So how vertical flight aircraft with a pilot, and it reaches the height of zero point 0.6 meters. So it was also not a free flight, as four men was needed to actually design the structure of it. So this concept of a quadcopter would work for flight. It would just take more technological development to make it actually ease. And it is again followed by the previous technology. Just moving forward a little bit in the technology, the first pilotless aircraft was developed in 1916 after the outbreak of World War One. So this was the design after the World War One. So it was developed by Ruston Proctor Aerial Target, which is actually a pilotless military drones used a radio guidance system. It is developed by British engineer Archibald Lowe. So this, by using a hand-picked team of around 30 men, they actually developed a pilotless plane which was launched from the back of a truck using a compressed air. So in 1917, the professor and his team actually uses the technology adapted by the Germans for their rocket program. So this is actually had success, and it was actually named after the success of the war usage. So in 1930, the US Navy actually started experimenting with a radio-controlled aircraft, which resulted in the development of a drone called Curtiss N2C2 drone in 1937. So before that, in 1935, actually the British developed Queen Bee. So this Queen Bee drone is actually a radio-controlled target drone, which is used for the controlling of the drones in an aircraft. And the radio plan OQ2, this is a remote controlled model airplane developed by British actor Reginald Denny and engineer Walter Reiter in the later of 1930s. So nearly 15,000 drones were manufactured for the military purpose during the war. So however, the main credit for inventing a radio controlled aircraft that could fly out was go when the full credit goes to Edward M. Sorensen, who actually patented his invention that uses a terminal to track the movements of the airplane. So, leaping forward in years, the next step in drone technology occurred during the Vietnam War. So, what they actually planned is they used this drone for widespread deployment and use of drones dedicated particularly for reconnaissance. So, drones actually started in the range of new roles like decoys in combat, launching missiles. See, it is able to launch the missiles here by fixing the exact target and dropping leaflets for psychological operations. So, in the late 1950s, the US pipeline manned SR-71 Blackbird was still in the development of spy satellites, which was actually in a steady stage to implement. So when the transistors was a breakthrough, so this radio control components was miniaturized in size to for the civilian customers at a reasonable cost. So based on that, the RC planes was systematically reduced in size. So it appears to be in a kit form that allowed many to build and fly RC craft either indoors or outdoor. So a large number of RC craft clubs were also started by the hobbyists. So this was actually created by a cottage industry which would speed up the development of commercial RC technology. The mini and micro versions of UAVs were introduced in 1990s, and the famous Predator drone was introduced in 2000. So this was actually used in Afghanistan to launch missiles and in the search of the famous person who was hidden, Osama bin Laden. So in the following years, a number of small-sized fixed-wing surveillance drones such as Raven, Wasp, and Puma were developed by Aero Environment people. So what about Raven is it is actually currently in number of countries with tens of thousands of units deployed. In the last 10 years, it has been seen a huge explosion in drone innovation and of the commercial interest. So when drones are primarily used for multi-purposes or hobbyists, beginning in the early 2010, very new users were proposed for drones, including for their delivery vehicles. By the middle of decade, we saw massive growth in demand for drone permits, with around 1,000 commercial drone permits issued in 2015. So this number actually tripled in a 1 year later, which showed an exponentially graph. And actually, equipping drones with camera is now in commonplace in commercial photography and videography. So the rapid growth in usage of smartphones actually reduced the prices of microcontrollers, accelerometers, and camera sensors, which are ideally used in the fixed wing hobbyist aircraft. So the use of drones is also becoming actually more popular for various applications because of the smaller size and portability. And it is actually used for many good applications like military, medical purposes. So that is what about the historical aspects of drones.